Paddy, over here.
What's happening, lad?
How are you?
I'm good, very good.
So I have to ask, obviously it's been 12 months since we last saw you, even at Media Day. So I guess how's the last 12 months been for you? How's camp been? And physically, how are you feeling after ankle surgery?
Yeah, the first couple of months were tough, obviously, knowing that I had to get surgery. I ended up getting surgery in March, and then I couldn't walk properly for a couple of weeks, and then I had a long recovery. You know what I mean? I had a boot on my leg until mid-May. So that was about 12 weeks, and my foot got infected and everything. So I ended up in hospital for 2 nights. It was a rough one, to be honest, lad. But at the end of May, I got married, so everything perked up from there. You know what I mean? The second half of the year's been much better. I haven't been as depressed or nothing. But especially when you get a fight announced as well, you've got a goal, you've got something to look forward to. And then obviously I found out that my missus is pregnant with twins, so I've got something extra to fight for now.
So kind of going off of the first part when you're saying the infection and everything, was there any part of you that thought maybe you wouldn't be able to fight this year just based on everything that was physically happening?
Yeah, when I first got the surgery, lad, I was in pain sitting in the house for about a week or two. You know what I mean? I couldn't go upstairs. I was sleeping on the couch downstairs because I couldn't physically get up the stairs. It was tough. You know what I mean? Then obviously about 6 weeks in, when I got the proper cast and stuff off my foot and had a boot on, I had to go to hospital because my foot got infected. And as I say, where I've got artificial ligaments now, they said if the infections reach the ligaments, we're going to have to do the whole surgery over again. Luckily enough, the infection hadn't reached the artificial ligament, so I didn't have to do that over again, and here we are.
And you mentioned obviously not being able to train, and you felt depressed and everything. I'm sure you saw Alex Volkanovski's comments after his last loss, where he just said not having a fight lined up, just not having something to work on, just kind of weighed mentally on his head. Could you kind of relate to what he was saying?
Oh yeah, 100%. Alex is spot on. When you haven't got a date or a fight to focus on, as a fighter, you don't know what to do with yourself. You know what I mean? When I was sitting on the couch for 2 months, I was just like, wow, what am I doing here? You know what I mean? You're just sitting there with your own thoughts, and it's not nice, to be honest. It's really not nice. So the fact that I had my wedding to look forward to, and then after that I could get back in the gym. You know what I mean? I started training again in June, and I've just been focused on training since. So June, July, August, September, I was just training to get myself better. You know what I mean? Get back in fight shape, get myself better, and I kept my weight down a bit.
And when they came to you with Tony, was that kind of best case scenario for you? Obviously one of the more popular names in UFC history, and trying to erase the image of last fight against a big, exciting name like Tony Ferguson?
Yeah, of course. As I always say, I'll never say no to a fight. So when his name was on the contract, I signed it. The funny thing was, there was a fake card going around, wasn't there, for UFC 296 with McGregor on and O'Malley, and it was me versus Tony. So I was getting asked by everyone, "You're fighting Tony Ferguson, you're fighting Tony Ferguson." I was like, "Nah, lad, nah." And then literally 4 weeks later or something, I got a contract through with Tony's name on. But yeah, as I say, it's an honour to be able to fight Tony Ferguson, one of the best lightweights of all time. When I was a kid watching the UFC at 15, 16, when I just started training, he was in the UFC then. I was watching him fight then, so it's that cliche saying, when your heroes become your rivals. But it's one of them, lad. Even I want to see Tony go out on a win, but I can't let him do it at my expense, lad. It's not happening.
Then in his fight, especially against his Justin Gaethje fight, he was pretending to throw sand. He was doing all of this other odd things in there. So did you see that, and how do you prepare for something so unexpected like that?
Someone mentioned this before, actually. I'll have to pretend to be a wizard and get a wand out, you know what I mean, if he starts doing all that.
And I watched the interview, and you said you're not expecting the slow Tony Ferguson that showed up against Bobby Green. So while you're watching this as a fan, are you just noticing every fight to fight, Tony's speed and everything is drastically kind of dwindling at this point?
Yeah, of course, but that's what happens when you get to that age, you know what I mean? He's 40 in a few months, and I think over the years he's relied on his athleticism and his speed to get him out of certain situations, and obviously when you get to 39 you lose all that. But I've trained for the Tony what turned up against Donald Cerrone and Anthony Pettis and Edson Barboza and Kevin Lee, you know what I mean? I haven't prepared for the Tony what turned up against Bobby Green and Nate Diaz.
Last one for me, obviously, since your last fight, the British and English MMA scene has kind of exploded with Leon and Tom and everything. So what have you made of this rise of the UK MMA scene while you've had to watch from the sidelines?
It's been great, you know what I mean? Watching Tom win the other week, getting up at like 4:30 a.m. in the morning to watch Tom and screaming the house down was great. And obviously the same with Leon. Everyone wrote him off in the third fight with Usman. Everyone said it was just a fluke, and then he dominated him over the 5 rounds. So the rise of UK MMA, it's coming, and we've always said it's going to happen now, so it's nice to see.
Paddy, do you think when you're in there and you look across and you see Tony, part of it will be a little bit surreal, that you're literally like looking at Tony Ferguson being like, oh yeah, we're about to fight?
Yeah, it will. Like, it'll be a little bit surreal, but at the same time, as I always say, it doesn't matter. The only people what matter in that moment is me, him, and the referee. No one else on this earth matters, and I'll show that on the night.
Because you're a fan of him, right, does that make preparing for this fight a little bit different? You know, like Jose said, he throws a sand. You've seen that before, right? So if he does it to you, you're just going to sort of recognize it. And even his pre-fight talk, he said in an interview with ESPN, you're more worried about him blocking you on Instagram, and when he cuts you, you'll be running home to mama and stuff like that. But you've heard that stuff before from Tony, so does it bother you at all? Does it get a rise, or you just think, oh, it's the Tony show?
Yeah, that's just Tony, you know what I mean? I'm waiting for him to say I've got Dana White privilege, to be honest. That's the one thing I haven't heard him say yet. I can't believe he said I was sensitive, though. You blocked me, mate.
How did you find out he blocked you, actually?
One of my mates said to me, Tony's on his way to Vegas. So I was like, is he? And went to look at his story, and he'd blocked me. You know what I mean? Bit of a weird one, like, shows I'm in his head.
What did you make of his training with David Goggins?
Can do what he wants, you know what I mean? As I've said in several interviews, Tony's never needed any help with his cardio or his mental fortitude. They're his 2 biggest aspects that he's still got to this day, you know what I mean? He can still go 3-5s, and he's always been mentally tough, you know what I mean? Look at the armbar Charles had him in and the leg lock Dariush had him in. So if that's what he feels he needs to do to beat me, go and do it, mate. It's not going to help you on Saturday night.
I feel like you're aware of this as well, that the fan reaction to you before your last fight and after that last fight did a massive 180, and I think you got as much criticism as I've seen anyone else get in this sport from that. How much of this win are you excited to do to be able to say, I'm here, I'm winning, and no matter what you say, you guys can't stop me from doing that? Yeah,
it's going to be nice to shut a lot of haters up, you know what I mean? It is. It's going to be lovely. I can't wait to do it. I really can't, lad. That's why it was even worse the first couple of months after I'd done my last fight, because if I would have got injured after the Levitt fight, it wouldn't have been like that, you know what I mean? It would have been plain sailing. People would have been up my arsehole. But when you get injured after having a very close fight and a performance like that, after saying I was going to dismantle him, which I would have if I didn't get injured in the first round, then it's a lot different.
Paddy, just behind Oscar here. I saw you meet Cody Garbrandt at the PI. Did you explain to him the difference between a Scouser and a Sorcerer?
Well, I done that last year when I met him here last year, to be honest. But Cody's one of the nicest dudes in MMA, lad. Whenever I see him here, he's always very welcoming, as he lives here now, and he's just a cool dude, lad.
And you sharing a card with Ian Gary for the first time. You both sort of made your debuts a similar time. What are your thoughts on him as a fighter? Do you think he could be a champion?
Yeah, he could, of course. Like, that welterweight division's wide open, especially if he beats Luque. He'll go into the top 10, or he's already in the top 10. He'll go higher up in the rankings.
Finally, you got called out by Dylan Dennis. He wanted Baker's UFC debut against you. Is that one you'd welcome if he gets signed?
If he gets signed, lad, let's do it. You know what I mean? He fought Logan Paul and threw about 6 punches. He threw more punches at security guards than he did Logan Paul.
Thank you.
Paddy, over here to your right. Speaking of like stakes with this fight, I guess what do you feel like is at stake here? Do you think we can start talking rankings after this? Like if you get through Tony, or?
Well, no, not really, because Bobby Green beat him, and Bobby Green didn't get a ranking. He had to fight someone for a ranking after beating Tony. So I'm guessing it'll be a pretty similar situation for myself. Beat Tony, and then I'll fight someone who's like ranked 15 to 12 or something like that.
For you, you're in an interesting spot because you're so popular. I'm assuming UFC probably wants to put you on pay-per-views going forward. Is there part of you that wants to have that kind of 5-round main event sort of fight night headliner before you start talking about titles and stuff? Or
I don't know. We'll see. I just go with the win, lad. whatever the UFC asks me to do next, I'll probably do it. As I say, I won't ever say no to a fight. So if the UFC offer me a 5-round main event, I'll probably take it. If they want me to fight on another pay-per-view card, I'll probably take it.
Paddy back here. Paddy, last year, obviously, you came out and you talked about building, the Paddy Foundation, helping those struggling with mental health. With the time off, were you able to make more progress in just continuing to build that?
Yeah, we have, to be honest. We've made a big leap forward. With the help of my manager, Graham Boylan, this year we've raised nearly £80,000. And we're going to be putting that to good use in my city, first and foremost. We'll be helping some kids on Christmas Day this year, and we'll be doing a lot more in the coming months. But as I say, this year's been great. You know what I mean? We've been able to raise a lot of money, and this is just the beginning. You know what I mean? We're going to keep raising money, and we're going to keep helping people.
What would it mean to you for someone to say, Paddy's philanthropic goals were bigger than what he accomplished in fighting?
That'd be amazing. You know what I mean? Like, as I've always said, fighting is one of the biggest things in my life, but come up to me and say, I didn't kill myself because of what you said after you fought, that means 10 times more than any fight ever will.
And then final question, you obviously get a huge reception when you walk out in the UK. You had a great walkout in the United States. How would you compare the two and feeling that energy?
You can't really compare them, know what I mean? They're both absolutely unbelievable. You can't describe what it feels like to walk out. It's a feeling like no other. It really is, especially when I start bouncing out and my song comes on and the crowd's going wild. It's a surreal feeling, to be honest.
Thank you.
Paddy over here. There seems to be like a bit of a dedication from you ahead of this fight. Like normally you like to kind of eat well and build up and weight in between fights, but it seems that you've been kind of in shape for quite a long time ahead of this fight. Is that true?
Yeah, you could say that, because I haven't had any fights this year, lad. So last year when I fought in March, I blew up a little bit in April, and then I had to get my weight down for July. Same again after I fought in July. I blew up a bit in August, and then I had to get my weight down for December. But I haven't been to the States in a while either. That helps, not putting weight on. But yeah, I got married in May, and my weight was quite low for that. So, hopefully I can keep my weight down from now on, but I'm not just going to do it because dickheads tell me to. You know what I mean? If I want to keep my weight down, I'll do it because I want to do it.
Do you notice, like, when you don't have to focus on that you can maybe focus a little bit more on skill acquisition?
No, people always say this to me, but even when I get into fight camp, like my last fight camp, I think I was like I was about 190 pounds, 6 to 8 weeks out, which isn't, people do more than that in 6 to 8 weeks to make 155. It just gets blew out of proportion a bit because my face goes a bit chubby.
You mentioned this is a lose-lose fight for you a couple of weeks back. Are you feeling a little bit different about it now, closer to it?
Nah, it's still a lose-lose situation, lad, because when I win, everyone's just going to be like, oh, he beat a washed-up Tony Ferguson, he's already finished, blah, blah, this and that, even though he's fought a murderer's row of lightweights up until he fought Bobby Green. And if it did somehow happen to lose, lad, people are like, oh, cut him, he's being beat by a washed Tony Ferguson who should be cut. So it is a lose-lose situation, but as I say, when a name gets put on a contract to me, I won't turn it down. It made me laugh, people on the Twitter experts and the Insta experts saying that I turned down a rematch with Jared Gordon and I turned down a fight with Drew Dober. I've never been offered either of them again.
Is there any names that are sticking out to you in the top 15? Obviously, you said you want to fight your way into the rankings. Is there anyone that sticks out to you?
No, as I say, I don't need to call anyone out. They all mention me, but I reckon it'd be someone in like the 15 to 11 range. Who's that now? Like, don't know, Bobby Green, Grant Dawson, Renato Moicano, people like that. I can't think of who else is ranked up there at the minute. Like,
last one from me. Liverpool top of the Premier League. Are they going to do it this year?
Oh, we're gonna. Lad, I said before the ball was kicked this year, lad, and I'm gonna have an early night Saturday. Beat Tony, go and get a big greasy burger from In-N-Out, and then get up early and watch the Reds slap the Manx on Sunday.
Paddy over here. Speaking of Liverpool, I mean, Dana said that he'd like to go out to other cities in England besides London. What do you think needs to happen for you guys to go to Liverpool?
Well, you'd have to use a stadium, for one, because the arena there isn't big enough. And I know a couple of people at Liverpool Football Club now behind the scenes, and they've said they're happy to accommodate for it. You know what I mean? So, summer 2024 or 2025, well, I can get Dana in touch with the CEO of the club, and he can get it sorted. One of the biggest crowds you've ever seen, be about 60-something thousand with the seats on the pitch.
And obviously, you've became a big star inside the promotion, but if you were to headline an event at Anfield, is that like the moment where you sit back and say, I've made it?
Yeah, that'd probably mean more to me than winning a belt, to be honest.
And last one, another person you ran into is Sean Strickland. How was that exchange like?
Oh, he's hilarious, lad. Sean Strickland's one of the funniest dudes ever. He's a legend already, and he's just, as I say, bumped into him, had a little chat with him, and that he's absolutely hilarious.
Paddy, right next to him. You had said that you have twins due in May, and you've got more to fight for. When you say that, what do you really mean by that, and what is the significance of being a father of twins?
So obviously, if I don't win this fight, I only get half the money, lad. You know what I mean? If Tony's trying to beat me, he's taking food out my unborn baby's mouths. So that's not happening. And everyone says, like I've always said to people, getting your hand raised in the cage is the best thing in the world. Nothing compares to it. And like the only thing that maybe could compare to it is watching your children get born. And I'm going to have that times 2, lad, in a couple of months. So I can't wait to meet my little baby girls, and they'll be in the venue. They'll be in the venue watching in my wife's stomach. So it's going to be a good one.
Awesome. Thank you. Good luck Saturday.
Thank you.